the law of attraction builds your entire reality around one thing, you. Not what you might be, could be, should be, or would be, but what you are today. It isn't your level of positive focus or feeling happy that reflects to build your reality. It's the sum total of what you trust, value, and rely on, your core values. The choices you make when you're sure nobody is watching, when you're sure there will be no real consequence, how you truly experience others, the special exceptions where your rules apply to everybody else but not to you, when you give expecting a return, even from the law of attraction, all reflect in your day-to-day reality. It's not deeds or actions that reflect, but the core values you resonate with that drive them. Most of what we do, we wrap in justifications and self-righteousness. These excuses and manipulations are after the fact and have no bearing on what the law of attraction brings into our lives. If you love to draw, but never do because you're just too busy, then you're forsaking a passion that you were given. This will reflect in your daily life. The law of attraction doesn't consider all the good reasons why and the lavish excuses we build up. It doesn't buy our cover story. Ultimately, busy amounts to socializing with friends and spoiling our children, which are things we have a clear choice to do or not, things that do nothing but serve our egos. We could simply say no, and we don't. Instead, we say no to our passion, be it drawing or anything else. Our lives will reflect the core values behind making these kinds of choices. We choose to serve our insecurities over our passions. If money is tight, how many hours out of the day could you be taking real action to increase your income and don't? Instead, you spend time on social media and engaging in other pursuits that are guaranteed not to bring in money. You are making choices to defend, protect, and perpetuate your money situation. The law of attraction will manifest people and situations in your life that reflect this self-destructive handling of your reality. Do you demand that others do more to make you happy than you will do for yourself? Are you constantly playing people like chess pieces to manipulate them into doing what needs to be done but you don't want to do? This offloading reflects in your daily life. Again, it makes no difference that you drown your choices in justifications because those are after the fact, and they only exist for you. You are offloading, you will be offloaded upon. The most common negative practice controlling the law of attraction is passing judgment on what others feel and experience. We buy into the myth of absolute right and wrong, which immediately allows us to declare that others shouldn't feel how they feel. They're messed up, they're overreacting, they're just insecure, etc. The only person whose feelings we never pass judgment on is ourselves. We usually suppress our own feelings, but rarely do we declare ourselves to be damaged for having them in the first place. We will never think of it in these terms, but the way we actually go through life, everybody but us is messed up. In each individual situation, we are right this time. At the end of our lives, it just happens to turn out that we were right every single time. We never had a dozen glasses of wine, we just had one glass 12 separate times. But who's counting? The law of attraction is. When we lose ourselves in this kind of God complex, and everybody does, we set the stage for being invalidated, minimized, and viewed with contempt exactly as we do to others. The concept of absolute right and wrong is the core of nearly every problem we have in life. It puts me as the only person in existence who doesn't need fixing. When this is what you bring to the world, you are an emotional tyrant who spreads toxicity far and wide. As such, the law of attraction will build your own life around that same core. Others will treat you as you treat them. You will be chronically punished, adjusted, and beaten down for not complying with somebody else's idea of absolute right and wrong. You don't need to decide which feelings you're allowed to have, they will tell you. For most of us, absolute right amounts to how comfortable we are. If we're personally irritated by something, then that something is wrong and everybody else needs to stop doing it. A classic example is the concept of men leaving the toilet seat up. It is simply wrong, selfish, and inferior to leave it up. And yet every man who walks into the bathroom has to raise it because nobody left it up for him. But he doesn't count. This is basic selfishness at its worst. Offloading onto others who must serve us more than we will serve them simply because it is right. At the end of our lives, with few if any exceptions, right just happened to arrange itself every time so that we didn't need any correction but the other guy did. We were always already there, and we spent our lives as the ones in full authority, telling others how they needed to change while nobody could tell us anything. If you're taking it in, you're putting it out. It's about core values, not deeds. When others become chess pieces to be worked, played, and positioned for our personal benefit, while downplaying the impact this has on them, a certain set of values must be present. This set of values, regardless of how or even if they actually express themselves, is what plays out in real life. In most cases, most of us demand all the benefits with none of the responsibilities. We want authority over others, but we don't want to be held accountable when having that authority doesn't produce the expected results. The successes are ours, the failures are the fault of somebody else. Our cover stories are what keep us from seeing and experiencing ourselves honestly, and in the process, getting a grip on what we're instructing the law of attraction to bring into our lives. When we justify a deed, we lose the real motivation behind it. The law of attraction, however, doesn't lose anything. It goes straight to the core, bypassing excuses and justifications, and reflects real and honest core values. In today's society, at least in the United States, the overwhelming majority of first-time brides marry guys thinking they will live the fairy tale life. Branded with the official label of married, they will immediately rise to magical levels of prominence in society, being respected, revered, and loved by all. None of this actually occurs, and the missing link then becomes kids. I just need to have a kid or two, then I will be a celebrity to everybody who knows me. They have their kids, and nothing changes. The guys entering into such arrangements typically carry the delusion that they will be the hero of the century, revered by all for being such an amazing husband. These men rapidly discover they are nobody's hero, they are simply faceless placeholders to serve a very specific purpose, look good and bring in money. Women discover just as quickly that they are objects also, equally faceless placeholders whose real purpose is to turn an ordinary guy into the great American hero. Nobody escapes the law. We get what we are. Seeing what we truly are, as far as our core values, is something we were programmed at birth to resist, fear, deny, lie about, and avoid at all costs. With this resistance comes a virtual guarantee that our lives will play out according to our pre-birth programming and we will realize little to none of our potential as physical beings. Describe. Tell the truth without judging. What is, is. Admit to yourself your true motivations behind what you do and fail to do. Be honest with yourself about your hypocrisy and contradictions. Cut through your cover stories, your justifications, and your excuses for treating others in ways you would never tolerate being treated. If you do something, then you do it, the law of attraction doesn't care why. It simply reflects without judgment. The law of attraction doesn't operate by deeds and actions. It goes beneath all that to where your core values resonate. When you get past analyzing specific deeds and actions, and look instead at the values you hold, both toward yourself and toward others, then the people you end up with, as well as how you're treated by them, will make perfect sense. If you're not making sense of it, there is something you're not looking at honestly. This is why most people with money are ticking time bombs. They are furious most of the time, whether they bottle that rage up or not. To get their money, they used exploitation and other tactics that they themselves would never be happy being on the receiving end of. What they are reflects in their lives. Every human being has his or her own values, feelings, and experiences. There are reasons why people think and feel as they do. They are not broken. They do not need fixing. You cannot fix another person, You can only force them to pretend they share your values. The feelings and experiences of others will be different from yours most of the time. When you give them less respect than you demand for your own experiences, chaos ensues and the law of attraction will bring things into your life that you'd rather were not there. When you break through your own self-centeredness and begin truly honoring and respecting the opinions, feelings, and experiences of others, as they process those things, you have entered the driver's seat and taken control of your life. Until you break through your denials, lies, cover stories, excuses, and justifications about why you can, ultimately, do no wrong, you are left with only the truth about what you're telling the law of attraction to bring into your life. You don't need a comprehensive course covering all the details about how to make the law of attraction work in your life. It is self-guiding. Once you start down the road of discovering how it works in your life, connecting what your life is to what your core values are, you will never be left wondering where to go next. The challenge is in getting on that road in the first place. You must cut through your justifications and excuses. You must begin processing your interaction with life and the people in it honestly. If you do something, then you do it. Why is irrelevant, as the law of attraction does not process justifications. The conditioning we underwent at the hands of our culture occurred in addition to the subconscious pre-programming we were born with. These two factors combined make it nearly impossible to reach our potential without some kind of effective workaround being employed. To facilitate that breakthrough, a virtual process has been developed that gives you ultimate freedom to let your true colors show, live as the person you truly are without repercussions, never fail at anything, and always be in total command of your life. The core purpose of this virtual process is not only to experience, as opposed to analyzing, yourself in your natural state, but also to expand and grow as the natural you. It all unfolds as pure fun, but there is tremendous value being created just below the surface.